Nicole O'Neill once said, when you find the courage to use your voice, it has the power to positively inspire and change the lives of others. It is one of the special gifts you have to offer the world. It is something to be cherished and championed, never hidden. And that is why we are here on Your Voice, Your Impact. I am the energetic EJ. I am a life and transformational coach, and I work with women aged 40 and above to turn their abandoned dreams into achievable goals by activating their voice for impact. I'm also a podcaster and an event host. On this show with me is
great, so amazing. The goal of this show is to help people use their voices to create impact. I am a physicist and a life coach. What I do for my clients is I help them build systems to achieve their goals whilst having fun doing it. On this show, we discuss topical issues that can inspire you to move. Like, subscribe, and share. Welcome aboard.
Hello. Yes. Welcome to another episode on Your Voice, Your Impact. I hope you've had a great weekend, and I hope you're looking forward to another amazing week starting today. And I hope that so far your week has been off to a great start. Yes, I know we're a bit earlier than usual. That is because circumstances do change, and we have to accommodate, our guest speaker. And the important thing for us is that we still come here and show up regardless, right? So we had to just adjust the timing to suit our guest speaker today. So bear with us. If anybody's checking us out at 1 p.m. West African time and 4 p.m. GST today, they might miss out on today's session, but it's okay. You can always catch the replay depending on where you're watching from, whether you're watching on LinkedIn, Instagram, or YouTube. You can always catch the replay to catch up on what we talked about today. Today on the show, we are talking about building an effective omnipresence online. And, for some people, you ask, like, what is that? What's the meaning of omnipresence? Well, there is that thing that, there's so many platforms out there. There's so many social media platforms out there. And there is that need, not compulsory, but there's just a need to, if you want to reach more people, to be able to spread your tentacles across platforms. So how do you do that effectively? Because what that means is, like, you are everywhere, right? And that's hence the terminology omnipresence, right? You are everywhere. So we're saying, how can you do that effectively? Is it even possible? Is it reachable? Is it something to look forward to? That is what we want to talk about today. And our guest today is somebody who has practiced it over a period of time, and he has across media over 250,000 followers, and is making good impact in that regard. But before we bring on our guest for today, let me bring up my co-host. I want to apologize ahead of time because there might be delays in me responding to my co-host, and that's because I think the network on my end is not so great. So but we're going to flow however we can. So let me bring up Grace, and so we can just settle into the conversation. Like right now, Grace is on the screen for me, but I can't see her picture, but I want to believe that she can hear me.
Can you hear me? If you can hear me, that's fine. I can see you clearly, and I hope you can see me too.
At least as long as I can hear you, and as I am monitoring, I can see that your video is actually showing online on Instagram and on LinkedIn. So that's what is important. So I'm going to use the monitors as my cue to kind of interact with you and our guest, as the case may be. But again, it's where the monitoring is a little bit late than what is happening in the studio. There is a buffer. So there's at least a few seconds of what I'm saying here versus what people who are on Instagram or LinkedIn can hear. So me monitoring with that is like I might be a little bit late. I just wanted to let you know that. Yeah. Okay. So Delight Magnus says, so what do you say, Delight? Are you saying yes, it is? You can see both of us and you can hear us both. Please help me confirm in the comment section. Be my eyes and ears in the comment section today. Thank you so very much. Yes, Grace, how are you today, and how is the week starting out for you? I know this is early for us.
If you can hear me, I'm
Yes.
excited, and I know that sometimes when we have itches like this, it sort of it makes us feel somehow. But you know how we roll now. We're going to do it anyways. Internet cannot stop us. Time cannot stop us. My week has been very, very productive. Or my week was productive, and I'm so excited because I know today I have my paper and my biro. I am expectant. So I'm very happy to be here to learn from the guru himself. Apart from the internet wahala, how are you and how was your weekend? You didn't quite catch that? Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. This is not nice at all. I can hear you. How was your weekend? You cannot hear? Okay, just go ahead. Go ahead. Let's bring our guest. All right, so I'm sure she has gone to look for how to sort this whole thing out, but it is what we would need to deal
I
with
just
in
I just
terms
want to
of
try. I just want to try to see if I can monitor from one of the platforms, because honestly, I can't even hear what you're saying. It's just going yeah,
and it's so funny how me I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly. I'm not seeing nothing is lagging. It's just perfect from my own end. So I guess we will just bring in the guest. I'm just hoping that you're able to see the guest. Once the guest is on board, we'll be able to at least have a decent conversation. If he can hear me and I can hear him, we will, look for a way around it. So I think without wasting so much time, let's just bring in the guest. Did you catch that? Wahala be like jollof rice.
yeah. So I think I caught that. Like I said, it's a little bit. I'm sure you said the wahala be like jollof rice like 5 minutes ago, and I'm just hearing it now. So just bear with me. Um, it means possibly you are going to have to be the one to um what's the word now? Drive the conversation. Our guest is also having issues joining again. He was in the studio earlier on, but I think he's trying to join again now. He's on the move. So we apologize for the technical glitch. But while we wait for Kenny to join us, right? Gracie, what are your thoughts around being with the concept of understanding what omnipresence is? What's your thought around that? What do you think about that?
Okay, so it's interesting. In fact, that word for some people will be like these people want to be like God. They want to be everywhere and anywhere at the same time. So for me, it is important and it is essential. These days you have to Gone are the days where they would say, don't make so much noise, don't be everywhere, don't do this, don't do that. Look, the thing is, if you have a message, you have to build the ability to be everywhere and anywhere at the same time. Simply because your message is valid. And if your message is valid, it is important that you're able to reach. I remember those days when we were watching NTA, they would say you cannot beat the reach, which simply means they're everywhere. They can go anywhere. So essentially, I would say that in this time and age, we have to be everywhere and anywhere with our message, especially if our message is going to be helpful. So yes, I think we should improve our ability, or we should build the ability to be omnipresent in this time. I hope you got that, and I'm sure it's going to be late. While you're gathering this particular information, you'll be able to, comment after this. So I'll just keep quiet and hope you got that part. More. If only you could see me, then we'll be using sign language to talk.
Honestly, I just finished hearing what you said. So, oh my goodness, I am so sorry about my network these days. I hope I'll be able to look for a solution for this to make it more on time. I know, right? I know, right? So I'm monitoring, I'm listening to you from LinkedIn to hear what you're saying, but then it takes a bit of time for me to catch up. Um, you know, so again, it's that when we talk about it's crazy. So when I'm monitoring and I'm hearing myself after what I've said, it's kind of confusing. Okay, I'm going to say concerning the topic of the day is that at the end of the day, it's almost like, yes, it is important to be able to have your reach across platforms. Why? Because again, the different platforms also have peculiarity. And if you're thinking of expanding your reach, which is why you want to be omnipresent and doing it effectively. So, the whole point of having this conversation is how to do it in such a way that it does not overwhelm you, is how to do it in such a way that it does not put you in at a disadvantage. You're not overly overwhelmed or spending the whole of your time online, right? But there are systems and structure that can help you be here and there at the same time, leveraging tools and applications and things like that. But the thing is, like I said, is the different platforms actually house different type of people. So depending on your message, like you were saying, Grace, you want to be able to either adapt the message to a different audience or adapt the message to the platform. So, for example, you're writing, you write pretty much, right? You could house a channel or an account on Medium, for example, where you're consistently writing, right? You can have that, you can have your blog, but at the same time, if you want to send that same message across platforms, say you want to take it to LinkedIn, you can add a picture and take it to LinkedIn. The same message that you're sharing on Medium, where you have probably multiple pictures at different points in times, having headlines, subheadings, and things like that. On LinkedIn, it might just be you breaking down with different headlines without having the pictures in between, but having one picture that captures what you want to say or that just appeals to people's sight. Then you want to use the same message, you can actually maybe record it, right, and have it up on record a voice note or something and put it on top of pictures on a platform like Instagram, right? So again, it helps you to reach more people and different learning styles when you are able to adapt your content across board. And I think that's another reason why, being the concept of being omnipresent is right, is almost like It's not like you have to every time create fresh content for each of the platform, but you can use that one content and repurpose it across platforms. And I think that's another, thing that we might touch on today as we wait on for our guest. I don't know why Kenny is still delaying right now. Okay, I think he's almost in a place. So he's on the move, but he's trying to get into a stationed place so that he can connect with his laptop. So please just bear with us for a few more minutes. It's just I just hope that we're able to um have the conversation as smooth as possible or as quick as possible to capture it within the time that we have, because changing the timing as well is already I mean, Gracie's at the office, I'm also working and all of that. So compared to when we do it at 1 p.m. when is our lunch break. Right, so please just bear with us today. Okay, somebody's saying, let me read what 𝗬𝗪𝐷 saying, it's not easy. Most times I don't want to create anything. It takes a lot of discipline. I could not agree more, 𝗬𝗪. I could not agree more. Yes, it takes a lot of discipline and leveraging tools and platforms to actually help you do that. So, but 𝗬𝗪, if you can hear me still, can you just type in the comment section what has worked for you? Because I know you're active on LinkedIn. I know you're active on X. I don't know that I've seen you on Facebook or even Instagram. I don't think you're active on Instagram, but I know you're active on LinkedIn and on X. What have you found out to work for you, 𝗬𝗪? You can share with us in the comment section. And for those of us watching on Instagram, please let me know, with content creation and being on multiple platforms, what has worked for you? What's your experience like? Let us know. Let's converse. Let's talk about that in the comment section. Drop your comments and I'm going to read it and share with us. Grace, please, over to you.
Okay, so what I was doing, I realized that you could, see the chat. So I quickly ran to log on to YouTube, so I'm able to chat, and then you're able to see, because we cannot be frustrated. No how we would continue to do this either ways. And I think that's one of the things that I have been able to learn, on this job. And I'm also learning your ability to be able to improvise. And yes, it's not easy, just like 𝗬𝗪 said, it isn't easy, but the fact that you're able to still do it either ways is what makes you different from other people. And I think one of the things that I'm looking forward to learning today is, you know, understanding, because I think it's when you when you when you find out the different platforms, different people, and different how they approach things, they're very different. For me, I know some people are very, very big when it comes to LinkedIn. They cannot they cannot function well on Facebook or on YouTube. I mean, on Twitter or on other platforms. They are just LinkedIn, because to them it's all being professional. And then some other people cannot function on LinkedIn, because they'll tell you that, I beg, those people there, they are too serious for my liking. Let me focus on Instagram, where my likes, people that like color, people that like, to put people that would want pictures, people that would want videos, people that want, things like that. And again, Facebook, you cannot really tell. Everybody can be on Facebook, those that are very big on career and everything. For me, what I have realized is, because it can be hard to be everywhere at every time, the beautiful thing is this has made it a lot easier. Just with this our platform, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, and we're on Facebook. So I think what I'm looking forward to learning is that system. I'm a systems person. I'm someone that I know that things are easier with systems. So I'm looking forward to learning from the guests today how we would be able to make these things like very easy, that you can be able to appeal to all the people on all the platforms. Because where we're going to, you have to be flexible. If you're rigid, if you have a rigid mindset, no, my clients are not on on Instagram. My clients are only on LinkedIn. That is you not exercising the very powerful tool called flexibility. So for me, I'm looking forward to, like I would always say, one new thing, one new lesson is going to be very useful in what we do. Even me, I just realized that I was very active on Twitter at some point, and I'm like, I beg, I cannot keep up with all these things. Now, what is all this? I'm on Twitter, I'll be carried away with the hot gist. I will now forget other platforms, and then I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm just looking at correct profiles, and I'll be asking myself, please, you have not started though, and I'm on Instagram, that one, I'll just be carried away, So I now told myself, I will be very big on creating I'll create a content that I can just, at least, if not for anything, I will drop everywhere and then focus on where I want to take content or receive information. So that's how I've been doing it. But I'm honestly looking forward to learning from our guest today on how to make it better. There's so many questions that I have to ask him. I'm honestly looking forward to having this conversation with him. I hope you got all I said, and I hope you'll be able to,
Right.
Okay, so that's comments.
Awesome.
All right, let's take it away.
I know, right? Hope I can't wait for you to just ask. I think I did. I'm just getting it now. So I did. So I'm just hoping that you'll be able to ask all the questions, because I just want to keep quiet and watch because of this back and forth. So 𝗬𝗪𝗡 says, 𝗬𝗪𝗡, when we asked, this is what she's asking. She said speaking works more for her. So on LinkedIn, she schedules her posts ahead most times, which is good. So there is such a thing as scheduling ahead as well. Hey, I see being Marcia, hi, it's been a long time, on Instagram, says, I believe we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Content should be repurposed to appeal to different audiences, but keeping the essence of who you are, what makes you feel stand out as a personal brand. I love that. Absolutely. Again, it's about the message rather than just the platform, so that you don't have to keep, changing. Know your message, know who you are, and then serve that to, the different platforms. Thank you, Marcia. Good to see you. So 𝗬𝗪𝗡 also says, I currently started moving more on TikTok. Don't worry, I'm coming to Instagram. I need to gather courage of mine. Instagram is a playground, really. So very, I don't know, flexible, really. So yeah. Okay, fantastic. All right. So I really do not know at this point why Kenny is unable to join at this point. I think his network, I don't know. So at this point, I don't know, we're just going to maybe talk about it in our own way and see what happens. If he joins in the next 10 minutes, fine. If not, then we'll just explore what we know that have worked for us, and then maybe we'll have to reschedule this with him and have another time to come on board, or have him create like a video for us, and then we can share that on the platform as well. So let's just see, give us just a few minutes more to see if he's able to join us today. But thank you so very much for being a part of the conversation. Thank you for sharing what has worked for you as far as being online and being on multiple platforms has been for you. I think again is just so I know one of somebody, a thought leader that I follow, there's like a mentor when it comes to the creative space. I like how he does his. So the way he repurposes his content is that he has a major platform, right? The main platform where most people, where his activities are more, and this person goes on breaks ever so often across social media platforms. But anytime he's back on there, like, he has good reach, good, like, massive engagement. So sometimes I've observed over time that sometimes he could post on a platform. Let's say he posts on Instagram today, and let that content, sit and simmer with the audience, a lot of engagement going on and everything. And then a couple of days later, he'll probably take that same post, tweak one or two things, and post it on another platform, say like LinkedIn. He posted there to appeal to the LinkedIn audience. And I found this to be very effective for him. And it's something that I think, when it comes to you being everywhere, you can also look at, okay, how can I adapt it? Because sometimes where we get overwhelmed is when we start to try to do everything at the same time. I think that's where we get it wrong. So, for example, what Odiwoma is saying now, she said she's very active on LinkedIn. Now she's probably gotten a rhythm of how she's going to be posting on LinkedIn. Now she can then add X to it. She's also active on X. Now she's adding TikTok. And then the next probably will be Instagram. So she already have a system in place to be able to create that one post to adapt to different platforms. And I think that's something that, you can begin to think about and leverage tools. Most of the platforms now have scheduling tools. Instagram, you can schedule your content. Facebook, you can schedule your content. LinkedIn, you can schedule your content, right? I don't know about TikTok. So if you are able to schedule your content like that, then okay, you can sit down and create the content for the week on one day, and then schedule it across platforms. And then the ones that don't have scheduling, those are the ones that you then post real time, right? Because even X, for example, X is I think they're the first platform that like embraces scheduling. 2 days ago, I was on a live session with this this mentor I just talked about, right? He was online, or he was live on Instagram, and we were having conversations with him live. And then I saw a post he made on Twitter. I'm like, but bros, you are here. We are here, we are talking, like we are chatting with you on this live session. But his tweet was dropping, right? So that means that he probably has scheduled tweets to go. So you see, you think people are living on Twitter. People don't live on Twitter. People don't live there. They just schedule their content to go out. And you will see some people like, but every 30 minutes, something is dropping. You feel like, this person, what time do they have to do it? No, they scheduled it. So you can also do the same to keep, that conversation going. Okay, Gracie, I don't know. I would have to wait for me to hear what you're saying now.
It's okay. It's okay. The beautiful thing is also most times having a content calendar helps as well. Yes, that's one beautiful thing that I have realized can be very helpful in this day and age where we are carried away. Sometimes you just catch yourself doing something and it's 2 hours. But if you've been able to schedule some of these things, life would be a lot easier.
Yeah,
So
okay.
for
I think
me, for me,
Penny's
for
with
me,
us
for
now.
oh, fantastic! Thank goodness! Ah, I'm happy. Even if we're going to get the
Yeah.
next 30 minutes to get him to do this, I would be super excited.
Okay. So I just heard your This is what's going to happen. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so 𝗬cie, I'm going to leave it to you. I'm going to leave it to you. I'm just going to keep quiet and be chatting in the comments. So whatever I'm hearing, I'll be chatting in the comments so that you just drive the conversation, ask all the questions, because I can't have this back and forth going. It's going to delay the conversation. All right. So thank you guys for being with us. Thank you for being patient. Hi, Aleta. I see you. Thank you for joining us on Instagram. We're going to bring up our guest now. Our guest is in the studio. So 𝗬cie is going to handle all the conversation. I will be conversing with them via the chat because this is going to delay. Anyways, Kenny, we're bringing you up now. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Welcome.
Yes.
𝗬cie, please take it over because my network is just crazy.
Kenny, this is a sign that something big, something huge is about to happen, because what is all this back and forth delay, network issues, this, that. So without even talking too much, I'm just going to let you take it away. We've been waiting for you. And me personally, I'm super excited to be having this conversation with you. Thank you for joining us. So tell us
Thank
a
you so
little
much for
bit
having
about
me.
the work. Yeah, tell us a little bit about the work that you do.
Okay, my name is Kenny Nwokoye, and I'm an online business coach and a speaker and consultant. I teach people how to drive traffic to other people's products and make money, basically.
I love it. You're sharp and straight to the point. This is how I want to be able to tell what I do in just few seconds, and I'm very sure that I'm going to be learning a lot from you today. Being our topic for today is an interesting one, because whether we agree or not, you get to hear things like, "Ah, I'm not an online person, I cannot deal with this online thing." And we hear this a lot, and we want to help people understand that online is the next big thing. Even if you operate offline, it is also important that you know the essence of doing things online. If you have a message, if you have products. So I want you to tell our viewers right now why it is important to be relevant online.
Right. First off, thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Somebody's
If I had,
hailing you big time. Odi1ma is saying,
hey,
Coach
Odimoma is here.
Kenny.
That's awesome to see you, Odimoma. Yeah. So, if I got the opportunity to learn through the right means when I started out, I would probably not have struggled for my first 11 months, and I meet a lot of business owners every day who are, well, I would use the word struggling to, build an online business, build a presence online and everything. But I find that one of the biggest things that people struggle with when it comes to the subject of growth on the internet is decision fatigue. And that's the reason why you see a lot of people who are asking questions like, which platform do I need to start on? Which platform is the best platform for me to be on? Those kind of questions come as a result of the fact that most people have that decision fatigue. And so they don't quite know what direction to face when they're starting out. But how I usually answer that question is that every social media platform is a stage. And your job is to show up on that stage and perform for an audience and do that consistently. And eventually you become the star on the stage. It doesn't matter what stage it is. It only matters that you pick one stage, right? So that's the most important thing. Like at the very beginning, that's the most important thing. So you pick one stage, you build, and then you diversify, right? So I hope I've answered that question, by the way.
Yes, you have. And I love it. Build one stage, build all. In fact, while you were speaking, what I could hear is that while you're on one particular platform, you are on the stage and you're dealing with you have to come correct. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I also want to, some people struggle, like the fatigue that you talked about. How are you
Mhm.
able to use your voice to talk to somebody that is probably not online yet? This
Right.
person knows that they have content, they have products, and they're not online, and they don't even know where to start. Meaning that they know that all these platforms are there, but they building that mindset of understanding how they can create impact via, online platform. What can you tell that person that is really struggling to even on board, to even, kickstart?
So the starting point is usually where you discover your zone of genius. When I say zone of genius,
Mm.
I mean, what is that place from which you can create and it will feel like it's not work? What is that place from which you can create all day, every day and not get paid, but you will do it anyway? What's that place from which you can create for hours and it feels like time just stops? That's your
Right.
zone of genius. So you have to figure out what your zone of genius is. Let me give you an example. When I moved into a new apartment in Dubai, the first 30 days after I moved, I couldn't get myself to sit in front of a camera like this and create a 1 minute video. But in that same 30 days, I hosted Twitter Spaces once a week for at least 3 to 5 hours. So if we say, for example, that I hosted those spaces for 5 hours a week, at the end of the month, I had hosted 20 hours of spaces. But and
Wow.
in that same time frame, I couldn't get myself to create a single short form video. What does that say?
Mm.
It simply says that when you're creating from a place of friction, I mean, when you're not creating from a place of genius or you're from a zone of genius, there will always be friction. There will always be that mental friction of how do I start? When should I start? You will never have issues starting anything when you're doing it from your place of genius
Wow.
because it will
Beautiful.
never feel like work. There is no friction when you're doing it from your place of genius. So, to make it more practical for the person who's watching this, you have to figure out what kind of creator are you? Are you the kind of person who is more comfortable getting on an audio platform and showing the
Mm.
world what you have to share? Are you the kind of person who is more comfortable getting in front of a camera and showing the world what you have to share? Are you the kind of person who is more comfortable writing to show the world what you have to share? You have to figure out what category you belong and start with it. That's it. You don't need to be good at all of them for you to start, right? But you can start and then grow over time.
I love it. I love it. I love it. The genius part, I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, so the big question: how do you become omnipresent online? What is the hack? What is the
Well,
trick? How do you do it?
this is a question I get a lot of times, and it goes back to what I said in the first answer to the first question. You start with one, right? So you start with one. Because most of us are starting out online as solopreneurs. So as a solopreneur, you are a one-man business. You have full control over your time. However, you are the sole proprietor of your business, and it's only what you
Mm.
do that gets done, right? So it's only what you do that gets done. And so because of that, you don't have so much time to be on every platform. You don't have so much time to be creating natively for every platform. So what you should do at the beginning is one, choose one platform and go all in. That's option number one. Is the easiest. I'm telling you, it's the simplest way to begin. It's pick one platform and go all in. All right. As
Mm.
time goes on, you're going to begin to gather attention, and that attention becomes traction. That traction can now be taken from one point to the other. When I started out, I started with Facebook, and I did Facebook for about a year or two. And by the time it was time for me to, when it was time for me to move, all I did was just use a call to action, and most people were excited to jump over to the next platform, which was WhatsApp for me at the time, right?
Mm.
So again, it's very, very crucial for you to identify your style of content and then pick a platform that emphasizes that style and go all in. Now, for the person who's now trying to build an omnipresent effect, there are several ways for you to achieve this, especially if you don't have much time like me. So you want to be able to leverage, right? The only way you can build an omnipresent effect on social media is through leverage. I'll repeat that because it's super crucial. The only way you can build an omnipresent effect on social media is through leverage. What do I mean? Right now, I could have my tripod right here on this, in front of me, and it's capturing everything that I'm saying on video, right? And I could have a separate microphone, and that microphone is feeding audio into the video that my phone is capturing. Are you getting that? And so by the time I'm done with this live session, my video editor takes that footage and chops it up, and it becomes short form video. And I can post that video on Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. So I create the content once and I redistribute it for more, right? So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing this is by using streaming tools like StreamYard or Ecamm Live or Restream, right? Restream is another very powerful tool that allows you to have an omnipresent effect. But the only thing about that, and let me warn, is you need strong internet connection. If you have strong internet connection, and maybe you can get up to 20 to 30 megabytes per second, then you can stream to multiple platforms at the same time. So you can be live on YouTube and live on LinkedIn and live on TikTok and live, no, not TikTok, and live on Twitter and also live on Facebook and even Instagram at the same time. So that gives you that omnipresent effect, doesn't it? Right? So these are two of the most powerful techniques I've found so far, when it comes to building an omnipresent effect. Now, let me add one bonus point. That's the fact that not everybody is used to a particular platform. Many people want to follow you, but they don't want to follow you on a platform they are not used to. I'll repeat that. Many people want to follow you, but they don't want to follow you on a platform they are not used to. So instead of changing their habits and instead of taking them out of their natural habitat, you can create content for one and repurpose for the others. What does that mean? It's almost the same thing as what I said in the first point. When you're creating content for one, for example, you can create a post for Twitter and you take the caption of that post and you drop it on your Telegram channel. Those who are more interested in Telegram will happily see that content, right? Some people will not come to Twitter just because they want to follow you. Some people prefer to follow you where they are used to consuming content. So bring the content to them in their natural habitats, and you can create an omnipresent effect, right? You don't need to create natively for all platforms. I'm saying this on repeat because it's super crucial. If you try to create natively for all platforms, that's the easiest way to get burnt out. But when you're creating with the mind to increase your leverage, you can get back time. And time gotten back is the ultimate leverage.
It's entering inside my brain anyhow, because of course this is a problem that I clearly have, and I can imagine many people have the same problem. So this is a big one, the one that many people would say that how I've been churning out content, I've been dishing, I've been doing a lot, but I'm not even getting the number of attention that I should. What do you have to say about that?
Well, how I usually respond to this is by dissecting attention as a concept, right? By dissecting attention as a concept. What is it that makes people to stop what they are doing and look at what you are doing, right? The answer to this question is right inside of that. What is it that makes people to stop what they are doing and look at what you're doing? If you understand that, and I'm going to break down a couple of them, right? You can easily start getting people's attention no matter what platform where you are. First of all, there's something I said recently, that even if you are not the same tribe as someone, you have only one eye and your nose is bent, Your lips don't cover it. Your lips are bent to one side, but you are talking about somebody's problem. Will they or will they not pay you attention?
They will.
Exactly. So I find that one of the key reasons why people don't, get other people's attention is they are more focused on the me POV than on the you POV, right? So they look at, they get in front of a camera and they're saying something like, hi guys, this is my first video. I want to tell you about my business. In my business, I do this, I do that. This is how I help people. It's all about the I. And the moment you start talking like that, whoever is watching your video cannot connect.
Wow.
Because everybody who consumes content consumes in selfish mode. They are thinking, what is in it for me? When they see your video, when they see your content, they're thinking, why the heck should I pay attention to what this person is saying? And so when you talk to them and help them to see themselves in your content, it becomes easy for you to get their attention, right? So here's an example. I could lift up my phone camera now and I want to create a video about, the first things I did when I first visited Dubai. I could say, here are the first 5 things that I did when I first visited Dubai. As much as that is an interesting topic, most people will not be interested in the topic because I used the word I in the video.
For real.
But I could take that same video and start it differently by saying, here are 5 things you should do when you first visit Dubai. So what I've done now is I've switched the point of view and I'm talking to the person who is viewing the video.
Oh, nice.
And because everyone who is viewing these things, they are viewing from a, selfish perspective, they would happily listen because they want to know what they can do for the first time when they visit Dubai, right?
Hey,
so it's a POV thing, right? And then let me also add this. And I feel this is the number one thing because we live in a fast-paced, attention-driven economy. And in a fast-paced, attention-driven economy like the one we live in, there is a 3-second war for attention. And that war can be won through the understanding of hooks, right? Through the understanding of hooks. There are only 3 things. I'm telling you this from teaching a lot of people this over the years. There are only 3 things that matter the most in any video or in any content, not just videos now, right? Because videos is my area, but in any kind of content that gets attention. One is your hook, right? One is your hook, what grabs the attention. I wish I could go into details of all the different kinds of hooks that you can use in your videos, but I think there's like billions of content nowadays with people, dropping different hooks you can use for your videos. You should just go online and search for all the different examples of hooks that you can use for your videos. But ultimately, the first 3 to 5 seconds will determine whether anyone watches your video or not. And if you say the wrong words in those 3 to 5 seconds, then forget it. If it doesn't spark curiosity, or it's not controversial, or it's not negative, or it's not interesting or engaging or eye-catching, it's not going to grab their attention, right? There are a number of other different factors that will determine whether someone gets caught by your hook, but you should take the assignment from this session. You should take the assignment and go and find out as many hooks as you can and start practicing these hooks. Start practicing them in the beginning of your videos. That's number one. When you have the hooks right, you will get attention, period. But having people's attention is not enough to get them to stay till the end. So you've gotten them to stop and watch. You've gotten them to stop and read. What makes them to read from beginning till the end, right? What makes them to read from beginning to the end? Number one is your stories, right? Stories. You've heard it time and time again. Facts tell, stories sell, right? And when you're creating this content, when you're creating this, yeah, that's the word. When you're creating this content, you should be able to weave in interesting stories into this content so that people can be excited to consume that content. I would have gone deep into maybe some storytelling formats and all of that, but I don't know how much. I don't think we have that much time for me to go deep into stories. But facts tell and stories tell. That's it, right? Absolutely crucial that you take note of this. Please excuse me.
Wow. I don't know about all the viewers, but me, this is a master class, and I can just imagine how much there is to learn from our guest today. Look, this is where I would quickly say that share, subscribe, and very if you love anybody and you want to see them thrive, this video is a must watch, because I would definitely watch this again and again. Okay, so like I'm just like, my goodness, I've probably been messing up. And you talked about, please, Ejiro, if you can put up that question that the lady asked. I didn't want to interrupt what he was saying at the time. So if you can hear me, kindly put up the question again so that we can ask him before he leaves. So the next thing I want to ask is, there's some people that would tell you that, okay, controversy is not my style. So this is what we talk about in our circle. One of the ways that they'll tell you negative news and all of those things. Me particularly, I mean, me for one, there was a time I had this blog that I was, talking for me all about positive, dropping positive messages. Okay, let me quickly read it. What if, as a creator, we have less time than many others? She's a mom to a special needs kid. Please share what you think. She's asking. She wants to know if, as a creator, she has she has less time. I think he has answered the question in a way, but maybe you want to, talk to her directly so that it can help her. Thank you. She's a special needs
Okay.
mom.
So if you have, it doesn't matter what's the reason why you have less time. I think what's most
Mm,
important is that you have less time. And what's the fix for that? So if you don't have time, like I said, the only way you can get back your time is by applying as much leverage as possible, right? So I gave a couple of examples of things that you can do. Excuse me. I gave a couple of examples of things that you can do to leverage, right? And I listed some of them as well. You could go live maybe once a week. This is not a very common strategy that people use, but it's very powerful. And the reason why I find it to be very powerful is because of the fact that when you go live, you you are usually speaking from a flow state of mind. Most of the
yeah.
people who create videos, normal videos like scripted videos, the reason why they feel robotic is because they are not in a flow state. So you could just be in, you could just be reading the script, but what's happening is that there's a disconnect. The disconnect comes from the fact that there's no expression. So most people are, they're using those scripts and there's no expression. But when you go live, you usually find out that when you're live, you're speaking from a place of flow, like you're speaking from a flow state. That's a very common thing. I've observed a lot of people, and I find out when they are live, they are speaking from a flow state of mind. And that's one of the best places to speak from because it's very honest and it's very relatable and it's easy for people to connect to, right? So, what if next time you go live, when you are in your flow state, you collect that information in another format with your phone? And after you finish collecting that information, you chop it up into smaller bits using a tool like CapCut or using a tool like InShot. And then you can put some subtitles or captions on it, and then you can post it as short form videos. If you don't have the time for that, then you can employ the services of an agency, right? There are agencies that handle creators who don't have time, right? Yes. If you don't have the time, then use your money to buy back time. That's another way to get back time, right? So you either apply leverage or you apply your money. Your money gets back time. So by using your money to hire the services of an agency, what they will do for you is when you go live once a week, they take that content, but you also need to make sure that every time you're going live, you're ready, you're prepared, so that you can drop as many gems as possible, right? Because the more gems you drop on your lives, the more content that can be extracted for your short form. Many people who follow me on Instagram must have seen those short form videos I've been dropping recently. I think the last 6 videos on my Instagram were cut out from me live on a space on Twitter. Yes. So
Oh.
you can have that running for you, and it's a very powerful strategy. If you're the kind of person who drops a lot of gems when you're speaking live, what happens is that as you're dropping those gems, you're just creating short form videos. So at the end of the day, if you do a 1 hour live, you probably have like 15 to 20 short form videos from just 1 hour video.
I totally love this. Thank you so much. You have answered it, and I know many people would benefit from this. Okay, so let me speak out for let me ask this question. There are people that are very, very private, but they have a message. They want their message out there, but they're not good, they're not good orators, they don't speak well, they are shy, they don't want to be on camera. How can they leverage their presence online without being in the faces of people? Like, they don't want to be seen, but they want to be heard. I have many people in that category, and I'm sure that this question, I'm asking it on their behalf. They would really love to hear what you have to say. They have a message, they have products, but they don't want to be, they don't want to be seen, like, what we're doing right now. They can't do videos. They're too shy, but they know they have, good messages that should reach people.
Let me start by saying this, right? You are whatever you say you are. I believe that this is not the response that they would want to hear, but that's the truth. The person who you are listening to right now is a follow-come introvert. Follow-come out of the box, hardcore introvert. That's who you're listening to right now. And then when I tell most people that, they don't believe, but it's true. You would know I'm an introvert when you put me in the midst of strangers for the first time. That's when you know I'm an introvert. When you know I'm an introvert when you spend 1 month with me. I can stay indoors for an entire 3 weeks and I wouldn't even step a foot out of my house. Now, how does somebody like that build a brand that gets 250,000 followers in the space of 2-3 years? I'll tell you how. It's simply because of the fact that you, my friend, are whatever you say you are. If you say you're an introvert, I agree with you. It's true for you. It's not truth, but it's true for you. Whatever you say you are is true for you. So if you decide that you want the output of an extrovert, then you need to put the input of an extrovert.
Okay.
Forget about your personality type, because as far as I'm concerned, this is how I see things, right? This is how I see things. When we came out of our mother's wombs, nobody was on standby with a label and stamped it on your head and said, this one is an introvert. Next, the next one comes in and then you snaps the extroverts on the head.
I love it.
Nobody did that. Nobody did that. You, at some point in your growth journey, decided that because of the way you behave, you decided that because scientists, we are scientific in the way we look at life. We like to see life through facts, right? We love to have explanations for everything. And so we look at our behavior and we want an explanation for those behaviors. So we put a label on it and we say the label is the introvert label, right? The introvert label. But I'm telling you, I come from a world where, the world is full of introverts who are crushing it in a world of extroverts. I'm telling you. 100%. And like I said, if you say that's what you are, then that is what you are, period. For somebody who has a growth mindset, they will not say, I am like this. They will say, how can I be what I want to be? They ask the right questions. What do I need to do? What do I need to change? Who do I need to become? What do I need to pay? They ask the right questions. And because they ask the right questions, the possibilities for growth open up to them and they can expand beyond their comfort zone. What you want to do is that you want to get the output of beyond your comfort zone from inside your comfort zone. But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I hate to be the bearer of, what will I call this one? Bad news now. But you cannot get the results. The results you can only get outside your comfort zone. You can't get it from inside your comfort zone.
Wow.
It doesn't work that way. But however, there are people who have been able to hack this, okay? So I will tell you what they did to hack this. One of the ways to hack this is by building a faceless brand. by building a faceless brand. How do you build a faceless brand? You just put a name on it, and then you begin to get known for something with that brand. So what happens is every time you show up and you put a certain kind of value on the table, bearing the name of that brand, you're building an authority for that faceless brand. And people will begin to make a mental association to that your faceless brand. But there are pros and cons, right? There are pros to the fact that your face is out there, and there are cons to the fact that your face is out there. For example, when your face is out there like mine, you can hardly go to any restaurant and eat in peace without somebody waving at you and say, hey, hello, hello, hello. That's one of the downsides of it, right? But then on the other side, where you're creating a faceless brand, you always have to be explaining the fact that you're behind certain things. So you have to choose what side of the table you want to be. There's no best side of the table. There is only what is true for you, right? So whatever you choose to believe, again, is what is true for you. So you have to decide what side of that table that you want to be on. If you want to build a faceless brand, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Go for it. But know that you're going to deal with the cons as well. And you have to be accepting that, right? There was someone who I met a while ago, and he built a brand to 500,000 followers on Instagram, faceless, 100%. Nobody knew it was him that was behind it and everything. So he got to a point where, a certain opportunity was supposed to open up for him. And that opportunity that opened up could have gone his way. I mean, positively. He could have gotten that opportunity if he had an already existing personal brand. But he comes on and starts explaining that he's the one who is behind XYZ brand. Now, in that particular context, he couldn't get the opportunity because of the fact that he didn't have a personal brand. But then again, this is not me saying that the best way to build a brand online is by making it a personal brand with your face on it. I'm saying this, that if you choose to go the route of faceless, then bear the consequences of faceless. If you're choosing to go the route of a personal brand, building your name, right? Building your name, then know that you're also going to bear the consequences of that as well. But I personally have a bias for building a personal brand, reason being that it opens certain doors, period. Like, it just opens some of the biggest doors. If you're more of a private person, then maybe you want to lean towards a faceless brand. But again, I've just outlined some of the most, should I call it, popular advantages and disadvantages. So it all comes down to you as an individual.
Bagong. This bell is a shout out to all the people out there that have given themselves those labels. Let me tell you, Coach Kenny, if you ask me, what are you, an introvert or an extrovert? I'm like, oh, I am what is useful to me part time. That is my label.
I am whatever I need to be to get the result. That is it. I am whoever I need to be to get the result. EJ, you remember the time we started on Clubhouse, when we started MGH Live on Clubhouse, 2022 December. That was my first time speaking on an international stage virtually. And I saw that we had different tribes, different people from all over the world. And I kept telling our collaborators, I kept telling them, listen, guys, this is not business as usual. You don't come into an environment like this and try to be your normal Nigerian self, right? What I mean is, you don't come in here and try to, speak pidgin English. Because when you do stuff like that, what are you doing? You are alienating some of the crowd. So you need to be who you need to be to get things done. You become whoever you need to be to make the thing happen. You're trying to get a certain outcome. You're trying to build a brand on an international stage. You have to become the guy who builds a brand on an international stage. You're not going to expect that people are going to fit into your box. No, sir. You will expand your box to accommodate them. Right? So that's it.
I love it. And I'm sure somebody out there listening to this has taken their aha. They've taken that message that is directed towards them. EJ, do you have questions for him? I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm sure if you leave me, we're not going to leave here today. And we are almost, I think our time is almost up. But I'll just wait. I'll give her a few minutes to get the message because she's hearing it later than usual. So while we're waiting for her to catch that particular question, if she has any question to ask you, I would say this: if you're watching and you have one more question to ask, this is the time to do so. Okay. All right, babes, if you can hear me, shoot. Okay. I think it's really late.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think
So
she's frozen.
yeah, she is frozen. So what I would say is I need you to say something before we wrap up. And what I want to say is, what do you think about using your voice for impact? What do you think about using your voice for impact?
So how I'm going to come at this, fantastic question, by the way, like how I'm going to come at this is from the angle of a concerned citizen. I will call
Thank
it
you.
the angle of the concerned citizen. What I mean is, I get in conversations with a lot of people every day who have so much skin in the game.
Hmm.
I've met people who have 20 years of experience with something, and not up to 20 people know about it. I've met people who are waiting to make their first million before they start making impact. I've met people who are waiting to become veterans at something before they start making impact. I've met people who expect to become masters at a craft before they start making impact. But whenever I see those things, I usually look deeper than what is at the surface level. And what I find is that when someone says that they are hesitant about putting their knowledge out to make impact using that, it's usually not because they don't know enough. It's usually because they believe that they are not good enough. So they believe that they need to attain a certain level before they can begin to make impact. They believe that something is missing, and when that missing factor comes, when that missing factor arrives, it could be more time spent, it could be more energy, it could be more knowledge, it could be more skill, more of something. That when they get that thing, that more, that's when they will automatically qualify to make impact using their voice. And when you even hear the word voice here, we don't mean come out on the street and begin to voice out whatever you are thinking. We don't mean only come on audio platforms to use your voice, like podcasts and stuff like that. We don't mean come on only video. It still goes back to the same thing I said at the beginning. Pick one in your zone of genius, right? Identify your zone of genius and begin to function from that place of purpose. Now, moving beyond that is also very crucial for every one of us to understand that you only need to be one step ahead of the person before you or beside you to qualify to impact them with your voice. You only need to know one thing that that person does not know to qualify to impact them with what you know. Yes. Imposter syndrome will no longer be an issue if only we kept this at the back of our minds. That you only need to be one step ahead. It's why I like to say that the best person you can help today is who you were yesterday. You must have heard it when people say that no matter how bad things have gotten for you in the past, that is someone's present. So what happens when you share that story and when you share that journey is you are instantly creating a connection with whoever it is that is experiencing that at present. Please follow me. Every time you share something with your voice, every time you share from your knowledge, your experience, you are creating a connection. How do you know this? I'll tell you. What if there is one thing you once struggled with that you no longer struggle with? Every time you come out to share how you navigated the waters and now you're no longer struggling with it, when people are listening, they are forming what we call a connection. We are infinitely attracted to people who are just like us. So when you come out and you share those stories and you share those journey with people, what happens is that you're creating a value match with people. Something as little as voicing out the fact that you are from Anambra State will make someone who listens to say, ah, see my brother, oh. You have created an instant connection by just stating where you are from. Now imagine what will happen when you show up and you share a lot more about some of the things that you used to struggle with that you're no longer struggling with. The only problem here is that some of us feel like our struggles are not valid. Some of us feel like the journey itself is not valid enough to be shared, especially when it doesn't have to do with you making $400,000, right? In your mind, you feel like the only thing worth sharing is grass to grace stories. No, sir. No, sir. It's not just about grass to grace stories. Any story that talks about how you move from struggle to victory is a story worth sharing. Even if it's a lesson that you learned today, you must have learned one lesson today that has moved you from struggle to victory. Share the story. And when you start practicing things like this, even without being the world's foremost leader in anything, you'll be making a lot of impact.
Kenny, you just made me tear up. If you see clearly, I tears gathered in my eyes, and I think I like that because, I'm just coming from a trip where I was just telling myself this same thing you just said, that you have to be a certain way or you have to have certain things to be able to create impact. But even without even attaining or having all the things that in what people would say that yes, this is what you should have before you do certain things, I went ahead, I did something, and you just confirmed, what, by just saying that thing, that you would help someone progress from what you have learned that you no longer struggle with.
100%.
I want to say thank you so much. I don't know, but this particular conversation is for me. I don't babes. I'm sorry. Means you don't mean. I asked all the questions. Sorry. And I don't know what to say. Babes, I don't know if you can join so that we can wrap this up together. But if you're not able to join, I'm very sure that you're wherever you are, giggling and laughing and equally excited. And to also, okay,
Enjoy
my girl,
yourself, enjoy yourself, enjoy yourself. Today now your day.
I got one. Coach Kenny,
Today now your
make me
day.
dey
Enjoy
cry,
yourself.
Sorry, Coach Kenny. I know us speaking pidgin right now. You'll be like, this is an international order. But please permit me 1 minute. I will speak this particular pidgin, please. I am so excited today. In fact, okay, the pidgin has even gone. But I have achieved a lot, just having this conversation with you. And I am going to watch this again. I will share, and make sure that I will, so this one I will share that everybody, somebody out there that is there saying to themselves that okay, I have to become this before I'm able to create impact. That particular message is for me, and I will definitely share it. So babes, please wrap this up. I'm emotional right now. Oh no, she has gone again. All right, so this is where we'll call it a wrap. It's been an amazing conversation, and I would like for Coach Kenny to tell our viewers how they can reach you. So I am very sure if you this particular conversation is not enough to help
Don't be
you.
emotional.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not enough. So please let Coach Kenny just quickly tell people watching right now how they can reach him and some of the services that you render, how they can also tap into it.
All right, so let's start with how they can connect with me on a deeper level. This goes beyond just following. I prefer to not share social media handles just like that, because most people can just go tap the follow button and before they can actually get something tangible out of that follow tap, it will take months or maybe even years after. And so I like to say a little bit about what we are currently working on. My industry is called the affiliate marketing industry. And I've been in the industry for about half a decade now. And I've watched the industry go from one of the best to one of the worst. And I will not deny the fact that I had a role to play in the mess that the industry has become now. And that's the reason why I and my team decided to take responsibility to clean up that mess. And a few months ago, we launched the Changing the Narrative campaign. And the idea behind the Changing the Narrative campaign was, number one, to fill the competency gap. Because we find that 9 out of 10 affiliate marketers today do not know jack about what they are doing. They have a lot of information on their hands. They have bought 3 to 5 courses, but they don't know anything about what gets results. So you put a campaign in their hands, for example, and they don't know what to do first. They don't know what to set up. They don't know how to set up. They don't know how to get results. So the gap here is not an information gap anymore. It's now a competency gap. And so we're filling that competency gap with something that we are launching in the next 30 to 60 days, thereabout. I don't want to let too much of the cat out of the bag, but what we are launching here is something that will fill that competency gap, an 8 weeks program that will take someone from aspiring affiliate to super affiliate in the shortest possible time through skill acquisition and skill execution, right? So for 4 weeks, they will acquire the right skills. And for the next 4 weeks after that, they will execute on those skills with a goal to produce results. And by the time they are done with that program, they are going to be graduating with a certificate of competency so that we can know that we can vouch for this individual, that this person has been there and can do that, right? So that's what we're working on. And we also have something else that we're launching next month, which is this one I can happily say the name out loud. I'm just a co-founder on that one. And it's the Video Traffic Academy. And so it's basically a platform where you can learn how to create simple videos, like where you're just talking in front of a camera, and you can use that to get as many leads as you want into your business as quickly as day one. I currently have a video that is running, and the campaign has been running since early this year, February, till this very moment in time. And I've gathered at least 42,000 leads into my business using that single video alone. I started getting a lot of questions from people who wanted to know how they can create such videos for their own kind of business. And that's why we're creating the Video Traffic Academy, which will show you in 37 days. As a matter of fact, it will show you in 30 days how you can create those kind of videos for yourself. And then 7 days later, you learn how to apply it, and you will do your own project as a student of the academy. You will do a project. So you don't graduate until you have your video done and plug it to a traffic source. So those are the 2 things we're currently working on. I had to put that out there. So depending on which one you feel you fit into, you can send me a DM. My name is Kenny Nwokoye on social media. I'm active on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Clubhouse, WhatsApp. Which is that one again?
LinkedIn.
I'm omnipresent. I have a Telegram channel, one of the most lively Telegram channels on the internet marketing space.
I'm so running there. I'm running there right away. I'm running there. Is it free? All right, take it away. I'm sure. I think you can hear us now, babes.
I think so.
Oh,
I think so.
She's 100% clearly on my end. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kenny. I really appreciate you. I know you never disappoint. It never go happen. I think we are beyond that level now where you disappoint again. If it happen again.
It's
You
always a
have passed
pleasure.
that level. You have taken the key of disappointment, throw into the Red Sea to never come out again. Thank you for sharing so much value. That's why we call him the soap cutter. Always cutting soap. Value vault. I've been a value, no, not be vault, so I
Vessel
know.
of value.
Vessel.
He says,
Vessel of value. Thank you so much, Kenny, for the amazing share today. And I hope that for everyone who has joined us across platforms, you've gotten one or two things. I am sure about that. And so the main point here is actually how are you going to apply it? It's not about just listening and hearing and nodding and affirming. It's about applying, because it's in the application that you get the results. And that's what he just said about the market. And I'm glad that you're actually stepping up to say, okay, yeah, we are part of the people that caused the mess, let us fix it, because yeah, they've just kind of bastardized affiliate marketing and internet. Generally, the money making space in Nigeria is just upside down. And I'm glad to hear about the work that you're doing to try to correct that from your own standpoint. And I know you have a large following in that space. So if you can affect your own community people, the hope is that they can also replicate the same anywhere they go. And hopefully that can create a significant impact in that industry. So thank you so very much for sharing. Guys, we appreciate you. Thank you for bearing with us for all the back and forth with the tech whatever glitch. We'll see you next week, which is the final lap on this in this month's theme. We've talked about everything around personal branding this month. All right, so next week we're going to wrap it up talking about networking effectively, like networking, building a network, and how to network with people. So don't miss out on that next week. Thank you, 𝗬𝗪𝐻, for always being here, for joining the session, and for engaging. Thank you everyone who's on Instagram. Laura, I appreciate you. Whether you join on Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube, you're always engaging, asking questions. We celebrate you. For everyone who's joining us on YouTube, remaining in this year, that you can change your content creation journey and actually get results. All right. So we'll come your way again next week. This is your voice, your impact. And I'm the energetic EJ. See you next week. All right, guys. Bye.
bye.